Hello and welcome back to another episode of Supercoach Insider. My name is Ben.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm Swiz.
Hey, we finally got it, boys. Hey, the boys are back.
Taken 18 weeks, but we got there.
And thank you for joining us. We are looking at the anarchy, the carnage that is round 18. Those that are going for those lovely top 15 PODs are getting kissed regularly on the dick. They are loving life. But
Isn't kiss on the dick like the best statement of fact right now?
It is, and it sums up our feelings entirely. So, look, before we move on, SC Insider 100, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, audio platforms as well, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcast, Stitcher, you name it, and the YouTube, Chris.
Yes, search for Supercoach Insider. And look, after we are about to get a bit of a Rogering, it is only natural that we partake in a little bit of Rogers brew this evening.
So we thought we'd go the Rogers because we are absolutely getting bent over and Rogered.
Stings nostrils. I love Rogers.
So do I. Dark ale.
I would really prefer though if it was a little bit stronger. Like I need like a stronger beer.
Well, you like your dark beer a bit stronger, do you?
Yeah.
Right.
I like my man strong.
Also, I've got a couple of the Mountain Culture. A little shout out to the Mountain Culture Brewing Company up in the Blue Mountains. I ordered some of those, $5 shipping. This isn't sponsored, but I think get around your local breweries, guys. In the Blue Mountains, they're doing it tough, I think, with COVID. $5 shipping anywhere around Australia. I am getting a 16-pack, so next podcast, you will see some fresh brews, and Chris can just stinge off me.
That's true. And we also got a sneaky little case of Bolter from Ventaroof as well.
Shout out Ventaroof. Yes, thank you for that.
For all your ventilation requirements. If you're looking at whirlybirds, don't. Look at Ventaroof instead. Write that down.
Yeah, going for whirlybirds is literally like picking up Mundy in a keeper league. Just don't fucking do it.
That's true. It's true.
I mean, they might get the job.
Short lifespan.
Well, they might get the job done for now, but that's fucking old school. Would you rather Walsh or Mundy in a fucking keeper league?
I'd definitely rather Walsh. Ventaroof is the Walsh of the Supercoach world.
It fucking is. Anyway, are you drinking there, Swizz, or what?
Well, I'm not drinking, but who's going to have the longer career? Because I can see another 7-8 years out of Mundy.
Well, I don't know. If Walsh keeps going the way he's doing, he could play till he's 75, so who knows?
Swizz, how dare you undermine Ventaroof? You fucking amateur. Fucking amateur.
Who are you?
Shout out to Ventaroof.
You know last week how we muted you. But anyway, yeah, so was it Mountain Culture? I'll give it a go. Apparently I heard good things. Thanks for those on Twitter as well that have been actually commenting. We'll give that a go. Let's start off. We're going to talk about how we went for the week. We're then going to go in and talk about the carnage and what it means. I don't think we're going to talk about trades specifically so far, I think, because we have minimal trades anyway, but we will talk about, as we go through the options, which one we're probably leaning towards, boys. So, Chris, how did you go for the week, mate?
Look, it wasn't great. How'd
that Josh Kelly go?
Yeah, well, it was looking good when Josh Kelly was on 73 at halftime. After that, it was a little bit downhill. I mean, the biggest thing for me, obviously, I had Grundy captain after my VC failed. But it was really bad anyway. I mean, I got a 107 from Lockie Neal. Turned out I wouldn't have had a loophole option anyway, so I kind of had to straight captain someone. If I was going to straight captain anyone, it was going to be Grundy regardless. So I think I took a punt. It didn't work out. I'm not going to complain about it. How many times have Grundy pulled through for me? Like 1,000. So he doesn't work off one time. I mean, yeah, sure. What hindsight tells me, yeah, Walsh was probably a better decision. Whatever. Outside of that, I went 2-3-8-5 for the week. So the only real other issue, of course, was Jelly. I also had Toby Green, so I had to take Waitman's score, which was a 58. I obviously have Houston, which is just killing me every single week. But everyone else went pretty good. So 2-3-8-5, not too bad. Like, it was still sort of around par. And only dropped slightly. I dropped 21 spots overall to 438. So still in the top 500. So yeah, not going too bad. Have Dusty, obviously. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. And only have one trade. So that's how my team's shaping up. And how about you, young Ben?
Well, I feel like a little bit of Bradbury at the moment. With all the projected scores going on, I was projected to slide out of the top 500. Swizz was going to take a big lead. Chris was trucking along. Next minute, Jelly injured. Mills out. And this guy coming home with the Thunder. I am now ranked higher than these two. I scored 2-4-2-4. Also with Grundy as captain. it hurt because I actually nearly went McRae as captain. I even said that on the podcast, and then you guys were I'm like, oh yeah, Grundy. I was like, okay, Darcy killed them, so Grundy was doing all right. It's like 80 at three-quarter time, and then absolutely shat the bed, did
His
nothing.
first half was insane. He just died in the ass.
He did nothing. He's got one look, for fuck's sake.
Jackson Barney was jumping over him in the second half.
Yeah, it was rough scenes.
Has anyone noticed it's the same look? He's done nothing. He did nothing.
Dude, you know why that's not funny? Because there was no soundbite.
Oh, excuse me,
Yes.
Chris.
She needs premium, dude. Premium.
Yes, much better, much better. Yeah, after you ripped into me last week, so anytime you try and make a joke, I'm actually just going to ruin you unless there's a soundbite for it.
Well, that's going to ruin our whole fucking niche, mate, because we do movie quotes, and if
kind of what we do, and we do it improv.
we can't, yeah, exactly, we can't plan everything. I mean, who are we, like Dr. Supercoach?
I like
Love
that.
your
That was
work.
a visual reference as well. For
That
this,
was so for me 2424.
So you can't be ahead of me by much because I was.
No, I'm 417.
Oh, there's probably like 7 points between us overall or something stupid.
Hey, it doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile.
Winning is winning. Write that down.
I was going to say
Soundbite?
just a tip. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
So yes, that's how I'm looking. 417th ranked overall. I do have Dusty Martin. I am holding. Lucky I actually held my trade because I had Langford. And I was like, it's not really season ending. It's kind of half of the season that's left. So I kind of, I thought I'd wait a week, and lucky because now Dusty's out for the year. So at least Langford will get me a couple scores later.
Well, unlucky for you. We'll go into this a little bit later. Langford was Essendon updated their injury
2 to 3,
list, and it's still 2 to 3.
Yeah, that's okay. That's Essendon though. They play hardball, mate. Swizz, how'd you go for the week, mate? Or how? Let's open up the segment. Everyone, if you want to go grab a cup of coffee, Swizz is going to go on a rampage.
Oh, wow. Well, I already had Whitfield out, so, that is what it is, and I had Highmore's score there. But going into the last match, I'm projected to go 2,600. I'm flying. I'm playing the wife head-to-head. Can't lose. Cannot lose. She has Grundy captain. And then fucking Carnage. Mills, see you later. Green, see you fucking later. Kelly, flying at half-time. See you fucking later. Jelly doing what he normally does. On that, I don't think
you really feel, Swizz.
I don't think Mr. Mitchell deserved the abuse that he probably copped on that. But we always know Jelly's going to get injured at some point. Just had to be this fucking week. Even Taranto, who was doing all right, and
he was at 60 at half time, Taranto, and finished on 96.
94. So I went from being projected to 2,600, and that was like even taking into account like Laird's score and everything like that. Ended up getting 23.63. Was projected to go up to nearly 300, dropped to 468, and the wife beat me by 12 points in our head-to-head. So yeah, Supercoach can get fucked.
Aren't you glad you just have a platform to be able to just soapbox your shit anytime you want and swear as much as you want to, because we just do not give a fuck.
That's pretty much how it goes. And
I know I wasn't alone in saying, because a few people put out saying, I forget the person saying, I don't think anybody's had it as bad of a week as me. It might have been one of the Supercoach coach boys or one of them. I think it was Clippo actually. Whatever, Potty. And saying how bad is it having Generally, Green, Whitfield, Langford, and that, can anybody beat that? And then when I obviously added in Mills as well, and that, most people were saying I think I took the cake this week. And then on top of that, obviously Dusty, and now a few, well, it's not as bad because a few people also have Rowan Marshall on top of that. So what a fucking carnage week. If COVID wasn't bad enough, and that the injuries going with it is just fucking thrown in absolute chaos.
Well, at least it's round 19, right? We've got 4 weeks left.
Isn't it 18?
This week's round 19, is it?
No, it's 18.
Yeah, this week's 19. So
oh, it is 19. Oh, geez, Oh, geez, draft leagues. Oh, round 19. Oh, that's me. Fuck, I've got Mills. Damn it. Anyway, so let's have a look at that. So with me, my one, I had Whitfield out, Langford out. So I was taking Brockman in the forward line. Good luck to me. It was like 40 points. And Bramble got me a nice little, oh, mate, I was laughing. So I was like, cool, Bramble did one. I was like, Rory Laird, you can get back into defence and cover me for there. So that was lucky for me instead of taking Bianco. But look, I also did have Houston sputting up as well. So
I'd love
Never
to loophole
again.
if I had a decent rookie.
This week
I'd be loopholing.
This week I am loopholing, and if Houston doesn't do well, then I'm putting Bramble on field. I'm putting Laird back there again. Fuck him.
Fuck it, I'll take Nathan Murphy. I'll take a potential 45 over it.
Yeah, Swizz, so you know what they say, mate.
Wait a minute, look! It's Captain Hindsight!
Captain Hindsight. All right, let's...
On that, you know the worst thing is I had Vice Captain McRae into Walsh, and because just before the Saints game, I changed it to Steele. I've gone, because I did talk about him last week. I'm like, no, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to go with Steele now that he's playing first, and naturally had to take the 145 and then just watch Walsh play a fucking genius game, the 193, and actually now has him in contention of being the number one Supercoach player for the season.
Yeah. Swizz, don't come at me with your fucking 145 VC awesome loophole when here we are, got Grundy on like 80s.
My VC was 107, guys.
I would have actually not taken McRae, and I would have rode it with Walsh.
Me too, 107, yeah.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things. I can't complain about Steele because after Grundy got absolutely smashed by Silvani, obviously there was a lot going on with Silvani. Condolences to that family with losing Serge, and I can say that because I have a mate who actually knows the Silvanis quite well. So, obviously he was in for a big game, but just happened to take it out on Grundy. And, so that did stuff a lot of people's captaincies, and then including my wife, but it was still good enough to beat me because of the fucking carnage. So, moving on.
I suppose that's a good point. Have you had enough Swizz or do you need a little bit longer?
Yeah, I was about to say, Swizz, what do you like with story time, mate? Do you get to the point? Do you get to the point, or is it just like the never-ending story?
If it wasn't the fact that my mob, absolutely wiped the floor with your mob and that, it would be a 3-hour friggin' whinge right now.
Are you a big man? Huh? I'm talking to you.
I respect that. All right, well...
actually, this is the one that sums it up.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
You fucked me up.
I love a good Deadpool reference.
Man. And the worst part was Brisbane got to a 13-point lead and goes, yep, everything's going to happen for us from here. And it's kind of like Collingwood in the fourth quarter.
Oh, mate, I don't even want to talk about that fourth quarter.
Still waiting, though, as well, just quickly, before we go into what the actual Carnage is. This is quite a nice little long intro. If you are interested, once everything sort of dies down and everyone's got their trades done, if you want to hear us kind of review the highlights, maybe, like a live reaction on how shit Collingwood are, that'll be nice.
No, I don't think that's a great idea.
It'll probably be Brisbane. Anyway.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's get into the Carnage. Now, what's happening is Callum Mills is out for this week. Toby Green is out for this week. I think they're back in contention from the 27th, so they don't have to do a 14-day quarantine. They have to do a 14-day balance from when the infection sort of period was, right? So they have a little bit of quarantining to do, hotel quarantine too, which kind of sucks. So you're hoping they get a bike and they actually try and keep their fitness up, and it's got to be boring as absolute batshit.
I think they do get they get to exercise, so they
don't get to go out though. They bringing exercise equipment to their hotel room. That's how messed up it is. So that's the first one.
Totally fine, done that.
Then Dunkley went and got a coffee at his local or whatever. He went to his cafe, tier 1, so he's actually in a 14-day quarantine, not just the balance of, pretty sure. And Rowan Marshall is also tier 1, so I'm imagining that is also another 14 days. And they said he's unavailable this week, but they haven't actually said he's unavailable for 2 weeks. I'm not sure how that works, but we'll see.
Well, the worst thing about Marshall is obviously he was probably the number one trading target for Dusty Martin.
He was already lined up. I got to actually make sure I reverse my trades, everyone. So revert. That is probably the biggest one, and he went really well last week, so it's kind of a bit of a painful one for those. Even more painful for those that actually brought him in up until this point. I think he was one of the most heavily traded in players. Even last week, I think he went up about 5 or 6%. I feel for those that actually went Whitfield out to Callum Mills to try and actually make up some points in the top 500. My condolences. And that's pretty much the issue. So there's this whole big scenario. Chris, you listened... there was a little bit of a wind out there that the Supercoach podcast, I think it's the official one, they were talking about what would happen in this scenario, and you listened to it?
Yes, I did, yeah. So they have, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever floats your boat, said that there will be no extra trades and that it's luck of the draw and that the only way there will be extra trades or round top 18 or anything like that. Anything that is going to majorly impact Supercoach is if there is less than 9 games in a round, which it doesn't look like the AFL is moving towards. They are scrambling heaven and earth to try and make sure a full round happens this week.
Yeah, if anything, I think it'll be the whole round would be the early bye, but I think they're trying to delay that as long as possible because Queensland's still pretty good and a lot of them, they can still play without crowds for now. So that's the news. So for those that have been hanging out, because here, and the funny thing is that I don't have Mills, I don't have Green, I don't have Dunkley, I don't have Marshall. I do have Dusty, so I can use my one trade there anyway. If you give me extra trades, but if you give me extra trades, then I am laughing because instead of me having one trade, I've now got multiple. And you might think it's a great thing to have a trade, and it sucks if you're going for overall. That's the way it is. It just sucks. Right, if you're going for leagues, then generally your leagues are next week for standard finals for your leagues. Well, so they'll be back anyway, mostly.
Imagine if you're like you and you're out of trades, but you've now got Dusty to deal with, right? Versus, so you just get a leg up because you get free trades, right?
Yeah, so people that don't have, like they might have players out, they want those to kind of replace them, but then if you give everyone trades, then you might replace them, but then I'm replacing someone else for even a better option.
Or, best case scenario is you don't have any of the Carnage. And you get extra trades, so now you can just upgrade, say, Taranto to fucking Bontempelli or something stupid.
Like you give me 2 trades, I'm going Dusty out and Houston up. Catch you later. Do you know what I mean? Like woo.
It'd be the easiest no-brainer decision you've ever done. So I 100% endorse no trades. If you want unlimited trades, play fantasy. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like I like the limited trade format. That's what I enjoy. However, I can understand why people are upset because most people have burnt their fucking trades well up until this point. We are obviously one of them because we are playing for overall, and I would argue that most people in the top 1,000, I'd be shocked if people had more than 2 trades at this point of the season.
There's actually
a couple with 3, I think.
So Supercoach data put it up. There was a couple of people that still had 4 trades in the top, I think even 100 in that. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, they're going to win.
They're in a real good, strong position. We've said it before, but Supercoach Data on Twitter do a fabulous job updating live rankings. They put out straight away that I couldn't believe that 50% of the top, 5,000 did not have Mills. Best friggin' defender in the game, and how did so many people get friggin' cod?
Well, I'll tell you what happened is because people started, a lot of people in the top 1,000 started 5 premium defenders. So they're like bringing in someone like Mills.
And Mills was going on heaters, so he did go low, but then he got priced out anyway. Again, he was back to 570. So
and then you had the same buy as both Lloyd and Laird, which a lot of obviously top 1,000 guys would have had in their starting squads. So a lot of people just ended up fading Mills. And the more that people faded him, the less people brought him in because you didn't need to get him because he's not hurting you. So if he's not in those top 1,000 teams, then you don't need to bring him in to try and battle against those people with him in your team.
I still liked him, but the funny thing is that in the community league, we got burnt big time. We were top 1,000, and we had Mills, we had Green, we had Langford on the bench, we had Dusty, we had Josh Kelly as that community league, and then we had Grundy as captain. So we scored like less than 2,100 and slipped from 1,000 to 2,000.
Do you like when I Snapchat when we're doing a live pod? Is that a thing?
Not really. I feel a bit self-conscious.
Do you just?
Yes. Is that for your lady friends or is that for the on the line?
Just on the line.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Anyway, so that's pretty much where it sits. Now, here's a good one, though. We are a community. So I'd like to think that we are banterful, but we are also rational bunch, the people that listen to this podcast.
We have degrees.
Degrees of separation. Degrees of separation.
Like we graduated from university. We have degrees.
Monsters universities,
Degrees
yes.
get degrees.
Anyway, so I'd like to think that we are quite rational bunches. So if Supercoach is causing you that much angst and just chill out, man. Just be mellow. Enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the chaos. Embrace it for what it is. If everything just goes absolutely arse up, then just accept it. If you are, for some reason, in like $50, $350 cash leagues, then maybe think about why you're going into cash leagues in a COVID scenario, possibly. But don't take it out on...
We said at the start of the year, hey, we're not doing cash leagues this year just because of COVID.
Oh, I don't know. And it's definitely increased the luck element to it. But for God, don't rip on the people that actually set the game up. I mean, even then, 10 minutes before, I think most of the news got broken, at least less than an hour before that these players were out. What do you expect them to do? Like, in all honesty, they can't just, it's not one person that makes the decisions. They have to kind of collaborate. And then even then it's like, oh, let's do that. And then try and create algorithms that have never been done before within 10, 15, 30 minutes. It's just impossible. And then people just losing their shit, flipping tables, fuck you, deleting their app. It's ridiculous.
Well,
Ben, don't you play for your house like I do?
Mate, you got to play smart.
Honestly, though, I mean, like, laid-outs happen. Like, they have. And we really haven't copped many laid-outs this year. I mean, how many laid-outs, like, to serious players have there been this season? Like, there hasn't really. In most seasons, there's always laid-outs to random players, and someone gets fucked. It's the same thing. Okay, we had 2 major SC outs an hour before the last game. Cool. All right, it's round 19 and people are out of trades. Okay, that's, like, that hasn't happened before. This is why I don't get it. Like, most of the time after the buys, people struggle for trades. It's not uncommon. Why are people making such a big deal out of it this year? And you know why it is? It's because Supercoach gave fucking free trades for no reason for 2 years in a row. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, well, I should get more trades. That's why. They did it to themselves. So I have no sympathy, but whatever.
Oh, fuck, that's brutal.
It's fucking true, though.
No,
Tell me I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
Argue why.
You are wrong. And the reason is that if they changed the structure of the rounds and there's not the same amount of players or the teams playing, right? If they just add like an extra buy-in. So you're planning your structure. There's meant to be 9 teams playing. All of a sudden now there's 7. Then I think you should get an extra trade per game. Not per team. For every game. Why? Because you need to be able to trade some players out to get a halfway balance between them. That's why.
No, I just think that if there's
because it's like you've just thrown the rug out from underneath them, and it's like, well, there should be something there.
No, because Supercoach is about trying to get your best possible team. Trading players during the season with one trade just doesn't make any sense at all for Supercoach.
Anyway,
at all.
You can
the only
send
thing
that
you
in.
should be doing is making it like instead of going from top 22.
Shut up, Meg.
to top 18 or top 16. That makes sense. Like if you can just adjust the amount of required
Today,
players.
Junior.
Anyway,
Chris,
free trades is a dumb idea, and they've written themselves into
Shut
this
up,
fucking
Meg.
problem. And I have no sympathy. Just saying. Am I wrong? Please tell us what you think.
Shut up, Meg.
Look, here's the thing, Chris. You can write a lovely email to info@supercoach.com.au, and I'm sure they'd love to hear it.
No, I'm not the one commenting. I'm just saying, like, I understand the hate because all these people have been jacked up on free trades. I've been jacked up in Mountain Dew, and now they're like, oh well, I'm going to complain because this is what I've been dealt with. It's annoying. Swizz, tell us how you feel.
I'm divided on it, but I understand both points. So, yeah, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. We know it's a limited trade. I'm probably with Ben on that. If there's games that are missing for a round, it becomes a different story. But, yeah, as much as I would have loved it for the Mills and Green situation, it is what it is. It's a late out, and we're just going to suck it up and move on. And move on to what our potential trades are this week.
What a classy response, Swizz.
Yeah, shut up, Swizz. We like start of podcast Swizz. This is middle podcast Swizz shit. I'm fucking not in for it. But Dustin Martin. So I think that obviously he's the most owned player in Supercoach right now at 66.9%. So he's probably got to be traded because if you don't trade him, you're going to be well left behind the pack. So let's go through options for trading him. And I think it's pretty clear, getting a top 6 option is obviously preferred. If you don't have, say, a Zorko, if you don't have a Bailey Dale at this point, there's really not much out there, is there? No. Someone like a Dunkley would have been really, really nice right about now.
He would have been.
Or a Marshall.
So when you're having a look at things, let's
split it into 2 categories. Categories is obviously
above or under?
Dusty and above, and then below. So 2 categories of players in terms of who you're going to bring in. Look, I personally I can only go down.
Oh, you are so fucked.
I'm so fucked.
Oh, hey, look, Taron Thomas, everyone, 432,000.
But have a look. Okay, so that is, you say that, but look at Taron Thomas's previous scores over the past, even like 8 weeks. He's actually gone quite well. I'm fortunate enough that I'm going to go to Shea Bolton. So Shea Bolton is obviously in my opinion, the number 1 target if you're moving down, and the reason for that is Obviously, with Dusty out of the equation, he's going to get a lot more midfield time, and we've seen him without Dusty, his scores go through the roof.
Danger's my middle name.
Yeah, look, there is flaught with danger, but I do think Shai Bolton with Dusty out could be a good option. Let's just hope then maybe, they're like, hey, Bolton, you actually need to pull your finger out and start playing football the way that we know you can. Now, he'll probably be the central focus for a bit of that dynamic sort of switch through. So hopefully Bolton gets in.
Speaking of as well, I actually don't mind Kane Lambert as well with in that Richmond midfield. He should also get some more time running through there, which should boost his scores. And we've seen him be able to go on runs where he gets scores well. And speaking of Richmond, I just want Swizz's opinion on both Lambert and Shai Bolton. Thank you very much, mate.
Tell me not Lambert.
I saw Lambert before when I was going through, looking at all the options, and I'm like, yeah, he's a decent option, but there's just better ones, and that's how I feel about Lambert. Like, if you want a guy who you know is going to get you your 90 playing in that role, no problems.
Boys, he's been around the traps for so long. I mean, even Mary has a little lamb.
But there's just better options there. Bolton's obviously one. Thomas was one I sent the group chat the other day, and that you already mentioned that who's playing quite well. But once again, I still think there's a couple others. Like you could look at, I think he's actually, but Matthew Kennedy's playing Cripps' role at the moment, and that. But again, it's hit and miss.
Have we got any read on it when or if Cripps is coming back at all?
Oh, I think he would be back this week.
Okay, well
he was a little banged up. I think he was he was close.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, can't do it. There is obviously a little bit of on the actual Supercoach podcast today. They recommended Dan Rioli as well, and he's moved back to a halfback flank role. So I know that is if you're really desperate. Let's say this, right? Let's say you've got two trades and you've got two problems. Going from Dusty down to someone like Rioli, I think he's like 285k or something stupid. And you could then upgrade another part of your field. So if you've got Langford, you could go up to whoever, let's say Aaron Hall or something similar. Or who are the other guys that are out at the moment? Whitfield probably comes back, so there's no point in going to that. But you could essentially use that cash that you actually generate to upgrade your team somewhere else. So I actually don't hate the idea if you're really risk affluent, I suppose is that the right way to put it? It's not something I would do. I would very much steer completely clear of that entire situation. But I can understand the appeal if you really want to play risk it for the biscuit.
When I tweeted out before about scrolling, oh, let's get on Sean Lemons, and I actually thought I saw Daniel Rioli there and still went with Sean Lemons.
So here's the thing with me is that a lot of the players underneath sort of 400,000 have a really bad 3-game average.
Yeah. Well,
when you look the whole way through, I think the best one's maybe Tex with a 3-game average an average of 90, even then 73. So the whole way through. So even still side bottom 392k, he's dropped 195,000. You're not going to get a cheaper guy that could turn it around. Generally, at least still plays. Do you know what I mean? He is durable. He barely gets injured. He is nearly 200,000 underneath what you paid for him. Meanwhile, we said he was overpriced at the start of the year, but did you listen? No.
Two things. First of all, Tex is still in 13% of teams.
Oh, side bottom's in 8.5%.
Well, and see, that's why you might actually bring in side bottom. Because he's in 8.5% of teams, he's not going to burn you as much.
Surely they're all burner accounts that started him and didn't come back.
I don't know. Anyway, 8.5 is a lot. But
I think you could do a lot worse than side bottom if you don't have any cash.
That's true.
Like, I'd rather side bottom over Tom Lynch. I'd rather side bottom over McCarthy. Lambert, I would take him again. I'll take Bolton over
I still think Bolton's number. I would say Bolton number 1, Thomas number 2, in my opinion. Like, a lot of people have Bolton already.
I am not picking Thomas 2. I'd say Bolton, and then I'd be going down to Coles, and I'd be going side bottom over that. I don't know why. Just because I think side bottom can get on a run.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I just don't like basically any of those options.
They're all shit, there, right? Bolton or take your pick.
They're all shit.
Let's now make ourselves happy. Swizz, who are you eyeing off above Dusty Martin?
Yeah, because, for just to finish off what you were saying before, the below options, it'll come down to somebody taking a risk. You know somebody's going to fire, be it like a Powell Pepper, a Jack Martin, fucking Tom Phillips turned up for the first time.
Swizz, you are on the Ron podcast, my friend. You are literally...
Hey, Old Man River, zip it or I'll break your hip.
The point is, you're throwing darts and that. There'll be one or two people in there who will come home strong, but you literally you could throw 100 darts and fucking miss 99 of them. Isaac Heaney, you mentioned last week, he got a nice 86, so he might be the best of the lot under 400k, but there is not much that I've got any confidence in.
I think I'll be on still side bottom over Heaney still. I know Heaney isn't pretty good, but it's interesting because I feel like maybe you've been talking, Swizz, have you been cheating on us with SC Elites, mate? Because you're acting like you're influenced.
They were so convincing in their argument. They swung me.
I don't recommend Tom Phillips at all. I'm just saying, if you were in that position where you had, for whatever reason, absolutely no cash and you just wanted to throw a dart at someone, maybe, but hopefully everybody's got some sort of cash there to go to Dusty. So
it should be like Step Brothers, mate. It'll be like, I'm not picking Tom Phillips, even if there's a fire. Hey, you hear that? Hey, Chris laughed and it wasn't a soundbite.
But that was actually pretty good. I respect that.
Yeah.
So let's go up the board. 5K gets you the buddy.
Yep. And he's on a bit of a heater right now, let's be honest.
He is on a bit of a heater. We know they're trying to get him to 1,000, so he still has some big games. Up there, 10K above Dusty's Tommy McDonald, who absolutely shit the bed last week after we talked him up. My man Tommy Hawkins, 128. What's that, 15 above Dusty? And that, I love Tom Hawkins. Yeah, I feel like he's going to kick a fucking another bag against us this week. So, I like Hawkins. The other one I like, but there's a couple other better options. But I don't mind Isaac Smith. He's really fitted in well at Geelong, and just to go through some of his scores since the bye, he's gone 89, 104, 105, 92, 104, 99. You can't get
consistency that's good.
Well, does that correlate with Duncan being out though? Is that how it kind of worked?
I think he's just had that wing role anyway. So he's just running up and down the wing, getting absolutely no attention at all, and he pops up, kicks his goal, and just does what he wants. Because who the hell is going to man up on Smith when you've got Danger, Selwood, Menegola, even Duncan coming back? I don't think changes much for Smith.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been good the last 3 to 5, but again, he's still only averaging mid-80s. So I don't know. Part of me feels either he's now got used to the environment and the new sort of style of play, or whether they've just played shit opponents.
Well, it might be that, but they still played the Lions, the Dogs, and Port in that. So,
like I said, shit opponents.
But yeah, so we don't know if it's just the fact that it took him some time, which we know a lot of players it takes time for them to settle in and learn the structure and get used to their new teammates, or is it just the fact that different players being out, or have they changed the role? So, yeah, I don't mind it as a consistent option. But then if you've got the extra couple K, well, we're talking Bailey Dell and Nick Hind and Stringer are just above them. And also Kmart Dusty, Jordan DeGoey, who's absolutely on fire.
You mean, when you say Kmart Dusty, you mean the guy that's way better than Dusty this season?
No, the one that's actually playing. He is a new Dusty.
Very impressive.
So when we have a look at, say, three-game average, Patrick Dangerfield's killing it, averaging 105 overall on a heater. If you don't have him already, 594K is still probably unders for what he's delivering, 29%. Now, we're talking those who have multiple trades. The way that the Anarchy has been, I'd probably try and stick to someone around that price point. I don't see, unless you have 8 trades or 6 trades, there's no real point going one down, one up on Dusty if you can help it, because you might need that trade in another week or two. Who knows, with the exposure sites out, it looks like that's pretty serious, particularly those around Queensland.
Danger's an absolute fire. If you don't have him, you need him. You're not going to be able to compete with guys in your leagues or in overall.
And particularly coming end of the year, he really lifts for those games. Jordan DeGoey, though, 490K, he's actually gone up like 150,000, I think, since I got him. He's on 400s in a row, all of them pretty much around that sort of 114 mark. I think he's doing really well. Aaron Hall, unfortunately, I'm priced out of this motherfucker. So it looks like I'm ignoring him because I ignored him once and looks like I have to ignore him again. But he's averaging 114.7. Is he any chance of getting a contested kick ever?
No, well, and why would he be? He's getting. I actually love the waxing between Zeeble and Hall all game. Like Zeeble will take a kick out, kick straight to Hall, receive a handball, and then continue to kick long. And then on the entry back end, one of them will take a mark. Then they'll just wax again, wax on, wax off, straight to each other, straight back.
Yeah, it's interesting, but he is a good option.
Aaron Hall's getting to the point where he'll start as a defender at 540k next year, and it's just becoming, fuck, I might have to start him next year. He's just so good. And that he just, as you said, the waxing. And now it's with McDonald in, we thought that might take points. No, all that happens is Zeeble to Hall to McDonald. So all they do is wax with each other. So nothing's more changed.
It's going to be interesting to see.
What happens in North stays in North.
I don't think that North will necessarily play the same style of football next year. So I think this year is a learning year and it's something that they'll do. And then I think they will make some slight adjustments next year that may result in a different style and not as conducive to defensive scoring. But it's something that we have to watch in the preseason, obviously, next year. But that is a very valid point. I've been looking at a few different guys that are going to be changing positions next year. And seeing how that's going to impact mainly for draft, because obviously now is the time if you're in draft, you need to be, especially keeper leagues.
Or if you're in keeper leagues like me, I just traded out Cozzy Pickett and Amon I got myself a Jack Zeeble and I got myself a Mitch Duncan and gave up like a second round pick. I'm like, hallelujah, Duncan's going to be a forward next year. He obviously didn't know. Get Duncan in. Anyway, keeper leagues.
Yeah, nothing wrong with getting a injury-prone guy like Duncan.
No, not at all, mate. You're talking up Aaron Hall for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go through. So ideally, if you have the cash and it's money is no issue, then Zorko and Dangerfield. Dangerfield would be over Zorko, yes.
Yes.
But
Zorko very close behind.
Yep. So those two.
Yeah, Danger over.
So take those out. Let's go through your three options that are more expensive than Dusty Martin. Do you want me to go first, boys?
Yep.
There
all
you
right.
go.
So for me, I am going. Number one, I'm going Tommy Hawkins for me, just based on consistency, durability, the fact that Hawks, Jesus Christ. Geelong will be looking for those wins, and I'm actually real keen on the Tomahawk for that huge ceiling. Number two, if I don't have that, I'm actually looking Jordan De Goey based on his new role, his newfound glory, looking fit, the downhill skier on the back end, killing it. Jordan De Goey is number two for me. And number three is probably going to have to be, I'm going to say Aaron Hall's out of reach because fuck him. So we're going under that mark, ladies and gentlemen. And apart from that, I'm going to probably say Bailey Dale, just more for the fact, again, that they're in contention. The Dogs will want to keep pushing on. He hasn't been setting the world alight, but he's still, 99 for the last three?
Still consistent.
95 over, so consistent enough where I think he'll just keep chipping away. Dogs will have to still stay in the hunt for that top two spot, and I don't think they'll slip away. Chris?
Well, I will say number one, Aaron Hall, because this is, by the way, ignoring Danger and
I was going to say to Chris, maybe take Hall out of it because Hall would be,
like 70,000, isn't it? 70 or 80,000.
Hall's in my discussion with Dangerfield and Zorko. I just think Hall's clearly the number one out of that line.
But the only reason I say he's only in 16% of teams, so there'd be a lot of fucking teams that don't have Hall. So
if you have the money and that, he's the
Danger, Zorko, Hall, and then
I think
if you have the cash,
clear you need, if you don't have one of those guys, that if you have the cash, you get them
easy.
All right, so then in that case, I would definitely go. I think for value for money and for current role consistency, De Goey easily number one in my opinion. I think he's got now, is it 4 or 5 games of 100 plus scoring? It doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
4. Yeah.
4.
I would then go Bailey Dale number 2. And then I would probably go, I will take a punt here.
Stringer, do not ever.
See ya. Wait till you get mine, mate.
Stringer number 1.
I actually don't. I really like Zach Bailey this year, and he's been really, really good. I know he's had a couple of down games recently, but I like Zach Bailey. 4.3% of teams. His scoring's been. He's got some really, really big games, and he's just the sort of guy that can really pop up and get you a 130 when you need it. So, I don't mind Zach Bailey.
Not bad. Well, I guess they do have. Brisbane do have Gold Coast, Hawks, Fremantle, Collingwood, West Coast to come home. So not a bad little look.
Those are 5 very friendly fixtures. You're welcome.
Buggy you, Chris, because I was leading in, so I didn't see the goat years and say I was about to say Jake Stringer, but really I was going to actually mention Zach Bailey because of that. Because of that fixture, I like. He's got a game where he always bobs up and can kick multiple goals. I think he's kicked 3 or 4 multiple times.
Again, there's just no one on him, right? It literally just pops up. Oh look! Oh, no one's on Zach Bailey. Why? Because they've got a ridiculous midfield. They've got Daniel Rich that they have to worry about. Zach Bailey just runs around with no one on him and just waltzes into the 450 and goes bang. Yeah.
So Suns, Hawks, Freo, Collingwood, West Coast. I don't think you could get much of a softer draw than that. And he's going to have a couple of games there where what's he got this year? A 124, a 133, a few other hundreds in that. So he's not as consistent as some of the other guys, but he can bob up. So of my picks, I'm going to still have Hawkins 1 because I just feel like the Cats. Obviously are going to continue to push for that top spot. It's now or never for them. And we know he's going to bop up. If you're wanting more consistent, my number 2 will be DeGoey, but I think Hawkins is going to have 2 really large games in that last 5, which will pump his overall to be bigger than DeGoey on the run home. So, Hawkins 1, DeGoey 2. And
especially North Melbourne too, Swizz, the first round of the finals there for standard leagues.
And undermanned Richmond this week without Asbury down there. And we're already missing Bolter. And earlier in the year, he scored 149 against our defence when we actually had most of our defence in. So what could he do against our underman? North Melbourne, the Giants, Saints and Melbourne, which should all still be in Geelong, COVID pending, but I think that'll still be the case. So, I can see him a couple massive scores there for Tommy Hawkins. That's why he's my number 1. And, DeGoey number 2. And I've got Zach Bailey just ahead, and it's only just ahead of Isaac Smith and Bailey Dale, and they're good options too. And I don't mind, and I'll throw my roughie out to being Franklin, just because I feel like Buddy, those last couple of games in finals, North Melbourne and the Suns, we've said it before, if he's any chance of getting that 1,000 goals, which I think he needs 19 now, there could be another Buddy bag to come. And we've said about teams switching off, especially with COVID now, that Supercoach grand final possibly against North or the Suns, if they are out of contention, nothing to play for, and the Swans have something to play for, watch Buddy just go absolutely nuts. And it could be one of those, 180, 200 games to finish the season.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And Fremantle too this week could really switch off.
Yeah, look,
if fixture stays. Yeah, no, I don't mind him at all.
My problem is with sometimes his scoring this year. No, sometimes his scoring this year. I mean, outside of his body, sometimes his scoring this year. He's kicked 4 goals, 5 goals, and he's only got an 80. Which is un-Buddy like. A lot of the time in his past scoring history, he's been a lot of his points have come from possessions because he's a high possession winner as a forward because he gets up the ground and gets involved with the play and gets onto the wing.
He's been pretty good the last 8 rounds, though. So when you look at his last 8 rounds, 2 of those were under 90, right? And then 4 of those were over 100. So he's been pretty good considering. Mind you, those 2 under 100, or under 90, should I say, were 47 and 42. But he's also gone 130 twice with a 113. So he looks okay. I don't mind him for draft leagues. He'll win you a week or lose you a week. It's the Tex Walker syndrome.
Yeah, and look, he's also got a good draw. I don't hate the pick. I definitely do not hate the pick. It's a risky one, but it's one that could definitely pay off for sure.
Interesting. Now, can we just get a little bit of I was going to say collaboration. Let's just go with a census. If you have, say, Marshall and these other players, how many trades would you have to have in order to move them on? Or if you're playing for overall, if you have the trades, do you just have to do it?
If you have the trades, you got to do it because it's only 5 weeks left. So. Just think of it this way. So a player misses 1 week at this point of the season.
Then what if you have bench cover though? Bianco.
Yeah, but let's say so you take that into consideration. Your bench cover might score you. Let's estimate 60 at a best case scenario. Unless you can see that bench player score beforehand. So like a Bramble, for example,
or Bianco playing on a early.
But that fixture is completely irrelevant right now.
No, they're still playing Friday night. Port and Crows apparently.
Port and Crows, yeah. So that means Bianco's not playing Friday night.
Yeah, he is.
They're apparently playing Hawthorn this week.
Who?
The Pies.
Yeah, Pies are playing Port Adelaide.
No, they're not.
No, that's changed, mate.
What? So since when? What the fuck?
It's going to be the showdown.
Yep. it's been announced, but it probably hasn't updated.
I saw that, but then nothing.
Yeah. So what happened?
Last thing I saw was Port and Pies on a Friday night at Metricon.
If you switched your phone off for half an hour, you'd miss all this. So what happened was they were heading off to they were packing their stuff, about to jump on the bus to head to Melbourne, and that was going to be Port Adelaide play Collingwood here. And then they were told to get off the bus. It was going to be the showdown. Literally an hour later, no, we're back on Port Adelaide Collingwood. And then an hour and a half hour after that, it's like, no, the showdown's back on. So it's been back and forth all day. So I do feel for the players here because, God, they're getting screwed around. And then we're just sitting there going, what the fuck is happening? But obviously they're trying to move with the government.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, no one knows yet. So one thing we can't do is captains because we've got no idea what the matchups are or what games are playing when. But what we do know is that that if you've got an opportunity to see a score before you can make that trade, then that is going to ease a burden. So you'll need, let's say you got Bianco and he scores 60, then you may choose to, you might have a level that you go, okay, that's acceptable and I might not trade or whatever it may be. But let's put it into perspective. Let's say Marshall misses this week. Marshall's going to score 100. You've got Brockman on the bench. He scores you 45 or whatever. You've got to remember that 55 points now is the next 5 rounds. So whoever you bring in, if you were to bring someone in, they only need to average 10 points less per game to score the same amount as, say, Roll Marshall for the rest of the season.
But if it depends. If Marshall misses 2, then I think if you have the trades, you get rid of him. But
that, 20
whereas, but Mills and Green, I think you keep because if you only have 1 or 2 trades, then you're probably going to need them anyway. And I'd rather have, if you have the loophole or if you have a bench player, I'd rather take a 60 than a 0 for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
the way that shit's been at the moment.
But you got to remember, if you're playing for overall, that 50 points is a lot of points.
Yeah, I guess you just have to risk it, right?
Exactly right. I think at this point, you just risk it. If you've got the trades, I think you risk it. If you've got, and look, it is likely. It's likely that there's going to be more carnage. You've literally, at this point, got to cross your fingers and your dick and everything else and hope that you just don't get hit with the carnage that's about to come through. It's too late in the season to be like, oh, I'll just wait on that week or that 2 weeks or whatever. You can't be waiting on Langford. Like if you had trades, you'd be trading Langford.
Where's this news? Because literally I'm looking at afl.com.au 2 hours ago saying that Power will now tackle Collingwood at Marvel on Friday night.
Twitter, mate. Get on fucking Twitter.
I'm on Twitter, but I can't, mate, you know what it's like on the Twitter sphere. It's all mumbo jumbo. Anyway, well, so no captains for this week. Are we just going to make suggestions based on form or what? Like Walsh against North Melbourne, if that's happening?
We do know a couple of the games of that, so, but there seems to be a lot. 1, 2, 3. It's funny because my footy info app's updated 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They've got 12 games listed for this week because they've got Port playing Collingwood and then the showdown. They've got Melbourne playing the Dogs because that's changed now, and they've still got Melbourne playing the Sun. So there has been a couple of changes with Brisbane, Gold Coast, Melbourne's now got the Dogs, and I think Hawthorn meant to be playing Adelaide, but that will become Hawthorn Collingwood and Adelaide will play Port if that final change goes through.
Jesus. All right, so who's the form players then are we picking? Like if you have Sam Walsh, are you VCing him this week against North? I think that's kind of going ahead.
I think you have to.
Yeah, well, that looks like that's still going to be the 1:45 game on Saturday. So, yeah, Sam Walsh definitely is a great pick there as the VC because hopefully there's still some games afterwards. Unfortunately, Geelong Richmond's looks like it's still going to be the Sunday game, and it's going to be the second last game on the Sunday. So someone like Tom Hawkins, who I'd love the VC, I can't, but Dangerfield is a captain option. Is obviously a very good option there, and nothing seems to have changed with Essendon GWS being the last game of the round. So they've been floating around where that's going to actually be played, but seems to be that's going to be the last game. So your Parrish and Merritt will come into play as your as a captain option because they'll be the last game.
Jesus. Well, there you go. Let's just try and pick a pretty good VC and roll with the punches, really. What do you do? If you have like Jared Lyons against Gold Coast, I think will be another good option as well. If I think they're playing Saturday night. 3:00 Saturday. I saw that one. I won't get to that game, unfortunately, but I'd be going Jared Lyons as well if I had him, especially if Lachie Neale looks a little banged up.
And Jack Steele, I think, is obviously still in very, very good form. So against West Coast, who are playing absolutely bollocks right now, I don't mind Jack Steele as a captain option as a fullback, but he also, at this stage, it looks like he's playing directly after that Carlton game, so you'll have to have an itchy trigger finger there.
Yep,
and
see how that goes. Any other comments here, boys?
No, I think
what I was going to say, with Walsh playing North and the Doggies playing the D's this week, what's Walshy behind? 84 behind McRae to be number one for the season. So there's a chance Walsh, we could be talking next week.
I don't
Walsh,
want
the
to
number
pump
one
my own
player in
tyres
Supercoach.
up, boys, but we all know how much I was on Walsh at the start of the season. I think I deserve some fucking props for suggesting.
I was on Walsh too, mate. There was some idiot on Cripps, but, you know.
I think you all forget that I went and got Walsh real early, like round 1. Who got injured?
Yeah, so did I.
No, you're already on him. I went and got him.
Did you go Neil to friggin'...
No, I went Neil to
Danger.
Ridley.
Danger to Walsh.
Ridley, Danger to Walsh. That's what I did.
So
you didn't have him either?
I didn't. I couldn't fit him in.
Well, then we are the same.
Oh, so I'm the only one that started Walshy. Oh, well, get around me, boys.
Oh, there you go.
We need more lemon pledge.
Nice work, Swizz. All right, I think that wraps us up, everyone. Look, good luck with whatever you are doing, whatever decisions you make. And if you are in a lockdown, particularly even Adelaide now, 7 days? So, look.
The whole country's stuck.
Except, hey, mate, Queensland, we're kicking large here. So, look, let's just enjoy the football. Just embrace yourselves and stay safe, everyone. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Do we know if there's Supercoach Olympics?
What? What's that? Is that a thing?
I said the Olympics starts this week. Surely there's Supercoach Olympics.
That would be legit. That's what they're secretly working on instead of giving us free trades.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, look, I'll take the swimming. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Instead of players though or people, surely it'd just be countries, and you do Supercoach countries, and for each event you choose like a captain or whatever.
That would be cool.
Which country? So this gymnastics, I'm doing this country.
Boys. That's our new thing.
Sure, I'll see you in 4 years. Yeah, good luck with that. Anyway, that's it. Well, let's just fake it till we make it, and we'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time, guys.
Yeah.
Boy.